So what are all the different types of EC2 instance family types are available? So far we have created a couple of virtual machines. We have touched upon this, but we did not elaborate, or we did not uh, got into detail to understand what are the instance family types. That let us explore now. So Amazon EC2 provides a wide selection of instance family types that are optimized to fit different use cases. So instance types comprise varying a combination of CPU, memory, storage, and networking capacity that gives you the flexibility to choose the appropriate mix of resources for your applications. So each instance type includes one or more instance sizes, allowing you to scale your resources to the requirement of your target workload. So keeping the definition part aside, let us try to understand what exactly it is. So there are 5 instance family types that are available. To begin with, we have general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, storage optimized, and GPU instances. So what are they? So if you take the general purpose instance, here we have so many instance types that are grouped here. You can see T2 nano, we have T2 micro, T2 small. These are all different instances, virtual machine type. While creating a virtual machine, either Linux or Windows virtual machine, we will have to opt for any of these. So this T2 nano may be having one virtual CPU, half a gigabyte of RAM, and 30 gigabytes of storage space, and 2 networking devices, so on and so forth. Similarly, if you go for maybe T2 small, it may be having, instead of 0.5 gigabyte of RAM, this may come with 1 gigabyte of RAM, and standard, once again, 30 GB of storage space. It will have its own configurational settings. Okay, so suppose you want to go for compute optimized, you can opt for it, where the applications that benefit from high CPU. So for example, if you select any of these compute optimized type of virtual machine for your VM, it may come with maybe 2 core processors, CPUs. The memory may be same 1 GB, and the storage may be only 30 GB to begin with, startup. Of course, you can increase or decrease as per the requirement, but initial capacity they will provide, this will be more of a CPU oriented. More number of virtual CPUs will be there. The faster CPUs will be made available with compute optimized. The next family type is memory optimized. Here you can see everything is large, extra large, correct, double extra large. So here what happens, this type of machines, virtual machines, are meant for more workloads. Those process large data sets in the RAM, in the memory. Okay, so here what happens, they will provide minimum 4 GB or 8 GB or 16 GB RAM for these kind of virtual machines. And when it comes to storage may be 30 GB or 50 GB limited. Again, the storage space you can increase, and there is no stop on it. And when it comes to virtual CPUs, it may come with only one virtual CPU, because the job is more related to memory-based RAM. Further, we have another type, that is storage optimized. Here, the more storage capacity will be provided. Minimum, maybe it will go with 500 GB or 1 TB terabyte of hard disk. RAM will be maybe, once again, 1 or 2 GB of RAM. CPU may be only with 1 core or 2 core processors. Let us explore these things in detail. Let us go back to our AWS Management Console, and let us try to correlate what is this T2 Nano, what is our configuration available. If you select compute optimized, what are all the specifications available? That let us try to explore. So last but not least is GPU instances, where graphical processing unit, additional add-on graphics card is added, where it is mainly meant for scientific purpose, maybe engineering applications, you want to use it in your virtual machine, or maybe for a gaming application. So these are all the specific usage of these different family types. So let us log into our AWS management console. Let us try to touch upon. Okay. So here I am with, let me start over from AWS management console. Okay, I'm now into my AWS management console. The region is North California, and I'm selecting the EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud service. So I'll click on launch instance. We are not going to create a virtual machine now. We will just see the family types. What are all the family types of virtual machines that are available? By default, you can see this is the T2 micro that has been selected. I'll go with maybe Windows operating system. So instance type is the family. Okay, so here you can see the T2 micro. This T2 micro has got one virtual CPU, 1 GB of RAM, and the storage is, it comes with 30 GB of storage by default. Okay, so here I can select different types of instance type. You can see we have a T2 small that has got one virtual CPU, same time 2 GB of RAM it has got. Correct. So next is the T2 medium. We have two virtual CPUs, 4 GB of RAM available. Similarly, T2 large, it has got two virtual CPUs, 8 GB of RAM. So further it goes on up to 32 GB. Okay, so these are all the things available and under T2. Next, we have C1, C2, whatever the different family types that we were referring to in the slide, the same thing. So here you can see this is compute optimized. We have C4, C4 large, C4 extra large. The same thing is available here. C3 large. Okay, this has got, you can see, two virtual processors with a 3.7 GB of RAM. And another one you can see 32 virtual CPUs with 60 GB of RAM. That is C3 8 extra large. So as and when we change the family type, the virtual machine hardware configuration that we select, our pricing will increase. So we end up in spending so much. So based on our requirement, what is the requirement for our virtual machine? What is the need? What is the process that is going to get into that virtual machine? Based on that, we can select. So accordingly, the pricing changes. So how does the pricing differs? The pricing is
one doubt.
Yes, please.
Yeah, 60 GB is each CPU 60 GB, or four processor will share 60 GB?
No. Here, okay, let me come back here. So here you can see 32 virtual CPUs are available with 60 GB of RAM. The 60 GB of RAM is available for the entire 32 CPUs.
Okay, got it. So it will share 60 GB with 32 CPUs.
Correct. So that means it is one single server. This one single server has got 32 virtual CPUs with 60 GB of RAM. Just like if you take your mobile phone, it may be having 16 core processors with a 4 GB or 6 GB RAM, correct?
Yes.
The same thing here also. So this entire, C3 8 extra large, it is one server, virtual server. That virtual server has got a capacity of 32 virtual CPUs it has got and 60 GB of RAM. Okay. So what is the hard disk? Hard disk, you can see once again 30 GB is what provided. Here, the free tier eligible customers can get up to 30 GB of EBS storage. EBS stands for Elastic Block Storage, just like your Drive C. If you want to increase this, of course, you can increase it. whatever is the capacity that you want, you can increase it. For first 30 GB, there is no charges. So over and above, the charges will be applicable. Okay. All good?
Yes.
Okay. So next, let us move back to our slide. So this is all about the instance family types. So we were talking about referring to the pricing model, the charges, right? So let us try to explore what are those charges, how it is calculated.